Hey friends, welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and we are spending the July 4th holiday weekend in the Three Capes area of Northern Oregon's coastline. We'll bring you along this week as we do some exploring, do some hiking, and even take the opportunity to try to harvest our own seafood. So stay tuned. We came here to avoid the crowds for 4 nights over the July 4th holiday weekend, and we got what we came for. If you're unfamiliar with Hipcamp, think of it as the Airbnb of campsites where folks rent out their land to campers. That's what our host Jesse has done after carving several campsites out of his 52 acres that he calls Timber Sands, near the Sand Lake Recreation Area along the Northern Oregon coast in Tillamook County. We're sharing a meadow with our friends Dale and Pat, dry camping for $35 per night, away from the crowds drawn to campgrounds over the holiday. Oregon's Three Capes area is comprised of Capes Kiwanda, Lookout, and Mears, all in close proximity to one another along the Northern Oregon coast. Cape Kiwanda is the smallest and southernmost of these, adjacent to the town of Pacific Beach, which itself is guarded by a sea stack known alternatively as Haystack Rock or Chief Kiwanda Rock. A state scenic area occupies Cape Mears, the northernmost of the three, at the south end of Tillamook Bay and nearby the tiny towns of Netarts and Oceanside. The cape is named for John Mears, a British explorer. Built in 1890, Cape Mears Light served as the light station for Tillamook Bay, visible for 21 miles out to sea. It was deactivated in 2014. Visiting Cape Mears provides the perfect opportunity for a relaxing lunch at the schooner, Waterside and Netarts. The largest of the three capes, Cape Lookout, is located roughly equidistant between the other two. It's a large, east-west oriented mountain that juts out into the Pacific for a couple of miles. It comprises Cape Lookout State Park. We had hoped to kayak today, but the north wind is ferocious. So Zoe and I are instead hiking with Dale and Pat out to the tip via the Cape Trail, a 4.7 mile out and back route with 793 feet of total elevation gain. While the first half of the trail is a well-manicured boulevard, the second half is a muddy mess with ample tree roots to negotiate. A B-17 Flying Fortress bomber crashed here on Cape Lookout during World War II. Only the bombardier survived. All 9 other crew members perished. The viewpoint at the end of the trail is well worth the effort to get here. When we come back following a quick ad break, we'll try our hand at harvesting our own shellfish, as well as visit the sand dunes here and the Tillamook Air Museum. So stay tuned. While staying at Timber Sands, Jesse has made available a crab trap to try our hand at shellfishing. He's also willing to show us the ropes, so to speak. We're at the beautiful Sand Lake Recreation Area, only a mile or two down the road from our camp. Despite its name, Sand Lake is not a lake at all. Instead, it's a bay open to the Pacific Ocean. There are 3 established campgrounds here in the recreation area and some expansive sand dunes for off-roading, all of which are teeming with people this Independence Day weekend. But out here, near the mouth of the recreation area's namesake 900-acre estuary, it's not busy at all. The trap is baited with fish before being tossed out into the water to attract Sand Lake's native Dungeness crabs. Jesse says that they'll enter the bay on the incoming tide and follow it back out into the ocean as the tide recedes. We're also restricted by law to only harvesting adult males, and Jesse shows us the difference on a small female we've found floating dead in the water.
So the females have this real wide, this is actually a little flap
Okay.
that they use for breeding. The males will have a very narrow one.
Okay,
So-
got it.
Well, once you see both of them, it's real. I mean, the girls have a V and the guys have a D.
Got it. Got it. We've left the pot to soak for about 90 minutes or so. Despite the wind on the water's surface, we had spotted several crabs marching along the sandy bottom towards the trap, so we're optimistic. Skunked. We got a big fat zero.
Nada.
Nada.
Man, they were there.
They were there.
Just not interested. As long as we have an Oregon shellfish license, we'll make up for the previous day's unsuccessful crab fishing by digging for clams in Netart's Bay, which includes over 1,500 acres of intertidal land exposed by 2 low tides daily. Clamming is something that you do on the mudflats at low tide, when the region's native Manila clam steamers, one of 4 species of clam here, are found only a couple of inches down into the mud. It's our job to find them and dig them out. An annual shellfishing license for Oregon residents costs $10 for the calendar year and is good for both crabs and clams. It's $28 for out-of-staters like us, or $19 for the 3-day license that I've purchased online.
Got one.
It only takes about 10 minutes for us to reach our daily quota of 20 clams each. We've also caught a couple of Dungeness crabs at the local fish market, which we'll cook together with the clams we've harvested for a seafood steam right at camp. These are easily the tastiest crabs and clams I've ever enjoyed. We're heading out in Jesse's 1974 Jeep to check out the scene at the adjacent Sand Lake Recreation Area, which includes over 1,000 acres of open sand dunes for recreation. They begin at the Sand Lake estuary and extend to the northeast, about 3.5 miles. The dunes are surrounded on 3 sides by a coastal mixed conifer forest, and on the west by the Pacific Ocean. To say it's a little busy out here for the holiday weekend would be the understatement of the year. Following another quick ad break to pay the bills, we'll visit the Tillamook Air Museum, housed in a World War II blimp hangar, so stay tuned. Another point of interest in the Three Capes area, if you're so inclined, is the Tillamook Air Museum, housed in a positively massive former blimp hangar at a former U.S. Navy air station outside of Tillamook. This 6 blimp hangar was built by the United States Navy in 1942 during World War II. It is 1,072 feet long and 296 feet wide, standing 192 feet tall and covering more than 7 acres. It is breathtaking in its scale. Blimps used to patrol the U.S. West Coast during World War II and were moved into and out of the hangar with this locomotive. Erickson Air Crane used this mini guppy parked outside of the hangar to haul heavy equipment until 1995, when it was retired to this air museum. So we hope that you've enjoyed visiting the Three Capes area of Northern Oregon's coast with us. If you like this episode, it is extremely important that you give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comments section, where we'd love to hear from you after each grand adventure, which we premiere every Wednesday evening. Coming up next week, we're going to be heading north into Washington State. So if you're not a grand adventurer yourself, now is the perfect time for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure. Finally, we'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. So until next Wednesday from Washington, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.